Last week, Carol kicked off our new sermon series, Why Church, reminding us that we have an invitation from God to spread authentic love throughout the world. Well, this morning, I would like to consider how regular participation in church has the potential to give you a longer, happier life and make the world a more peaceable and loving place. Now, I know that's a big claim. I get it. But I think there are many ways in which church accomplishes this. And I thought we would consider just one of them this morning. When we gather together each week for worship, we are invited to participate in a transformative practice. Each week, part of our service, we publicly admit our wrongs and failings. We admit that we have not lived up to our best intentions that week, that we've hurt ourselves and other people through our actions or our inaction. That part of the service has a very churchy name. We call it the confession of sin and absolution. But it has a truly incredible purpose. It gives us the opportunity to unload all of the guilt and shame and embarrassment that has built up on us throughout the week. As we've said stupid things, as we've hurt people through our actions, or maybe we've just been apathetic or not lived up to be as good as we hoped we would be that week. And we express this out loud in front of our friends, in front of people that we have never met, in front of very God. And then, after we have admitted all of that, we are invited to let it go. To let go of the shame and guilt and embarrassment that is associated with it as we receive God's forgiveness. To me, the most powerful thing about this is that we don't minimize the junk that we've done. We don't sweep it under the carpet and act like it's not there. We don't suppress it and repress it within us. We notice it. We name it. And then we let go of it and are then free from the effects it has in our lives. If we really embrace this act as holy and live into it with transparency and honesty, it has the potential to give us great joy and peace. Have any of you wanted freedom from guilt and regret? I don't know, but I have. Have any of you wanted to let go of shame, maybe even a sense of self-loathing at times? Do you want to be told you're forgiven? You are loved. That is the opportunity that we get each and every Sunday. Not only will this practice lower our stress, relieve our guilt and shame, but it can extend your lifespan. There was a study done by Yale University in 2001, and that study showed that cumulative stress and emotional strain had deep effects on our body. It decreased our ability to regulate cortisol and insulin. It accelerates cellular aging, increases inflammation, shortens our life expectancy, and can lead to psychological difficulties. Sin that is unconfessed literally eats at our bodies, and we have the opportunity to let it go. Engaging in this practice of confession and forgiveness has even another benefit. It creates a more peaceable and loving community here in the life of the cathedral. And when it does that, we together show this world that this world can be more peaceable and loving also. We become a witness to the world of what human relationships can be like. As we practice this weekly habit of confession and forgiveness, that act of confession and forgiveness will then spread to other parts of our lives. A number of years ago, an acquaintance of mine emailed me out of the blue. We had known each other in a very cursory way because we were in seminary at the same time. We hung out with different people, so we never really became friends. But a mutual friend suggested to this guy that he contact me because this guy was starting a magazine and he needed help. And he asked me to join in and help him. And I agreed, and we worked together on that project for a couple years. And along the way, we had a difference of opinion. And probably because of our egos, that difference of opinion became a radical, messy falling out. We didn't like each other then. We didn't talk for 2 months, and we were still running the magazine together. Eventually, I gained a little bit of humility, enough to reach out to him and apologize for my part in our falling out and ask for forgiveness. And he forgave me and then apologized for his part of it. And I forgave him too. Now, that guy is not merely an acquaintance. He's one of my very best and deepest friends on this planet. We've traveled the world together. We've helped each other through some of the most difficult times of our lives. I talk to him literally every single day. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't confess our wrongs and forgive each other. That, my friends, is the model that we read of in our gospel this morning in Matthew 18. This pattern of being able to admit our wrongdoings and then to accept forgiveness. And that passage wants to create an entire church community that is well practiced in that pattern so that we can then engage in that for one another. And as we do that, we become a model to the world on how we can have more peaceable and loving common lives. But for us to be a community like that, we need practice. It needs to become second nature for us to confess and forgive. James Clear, the author of the book Atomic Habits, says that on average, it takes a person about 66 days of continually practicing something for it to become a habit. That's roughly 10 weeks. So here's my challenge for all of us. Why don't we make confession and forgiveness a reflex, a habit? For 10 weeks in a row, I encourage you to make an effort to gather here in this space. And then when it comes time for the confession of sin and absolution, embrace it. Engage with it with honesty and transparency. Not all of us will be able to gather here for 10 straight weeks. For instance, I'm going to be gone for one of those weeks. We do have a live stream. We do archive services, so you can participate at a time that works for you. But 10 weeks of admitting our mistakes and then experiencing the release of those mistakes through God's forgiveness. 10 weeks for a longer, happier, more peaceful life. 10 weeks to grow our witness to the world as a people of reconciliation and connection and peace. Why, church? It'll make you happier, you'll live longer, but together we will bring the kingdom of heaven a little bit closer to this world and be a witness of peace within it. Amen.